Oh, good spot. I call this meeting of the Board of Trustees to order. Order of business, pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You had a piece of tape on your back.
Oh, really? Did you get it?
No, it's just a line on your shirt.
Oh, you told me it's a piece of tape.
So when he's jogging it, people can see him.
I see.
Oh, that thing on the very top.
Okay, just for the record, the only unhappy football fan up here is me. You,
Yeah, but
K State won.
yeah, but you guys look better than I thought you were gonna look.
Yeah, but we lost to Oklahoma on Saturday, which I was depressed, although. What's that point?
The Roper House trifecta, Penn State, Ohio State.
There you go.
Like it's gonna be happening pretty much the rest of the year.
Okay, before you use a set of minutes for September the 2nd, look for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Second, vote?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Brookside. We have a hog roast coming up. Is that correct, Chief?
I'm sorry.
Hog roast coming up,
Yes,
Merwin, 14th.
14th, yes.
Okay.
And the 13th, there is a, with the grant, but they're doing the, PTA's doing a fall festival at the school,
We have details on that, is
the 13th,
it? 13th of October?
October, yeah. They have they're doing their fall festival there. It's the PTA is funding, it's for the school, or the school putting it on, I should say, in the PTA.
Are you guys judging at the hog roast?
Not that work. I don't think we've done that the last
For a while.
2 years, yeah.
Okay. Worthington Hills, something about switching to the school, did that ever,
So they got
switching to the school
for,
the, I'm sorry, for the carriage ride thing?
yes, that has been
Yeah,
approved.
that
It's, for the Worthing Hills Care Guide, they're going to move from the country club to Worthing Hills Elementary. They're gonna use the actual bus lane to, pull the carriage, and they're gonna go Candlewood, Beach Lake, back around the club view and just make one big circle. Actually, I think it'll probably work out better.
Okay, Epcon Ravello, anything?
It's on his list. On his list.
Oh, hold on, sorry.
Oh, under the road.
Yeah, oh,
Oh,
sorry.
it's
Concrete
okay.
work in phase 2 has been completed and all the streets were paved. See bus work from Franklin. County's put together a final punch list for Epcon before the roads are officially turned over to the township. Crack sealed all the streets in phase 1. I don't know. I haven't been down there. I wonder if they look okay. I hate that crack seal.
We saw it before the crisis, when that happened, zero on 13.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Zoning.
Jen sent out a red line copy and a regular copy. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look at it. Tomorrow we have a 1 o'clock to kind of go through that, had a list that we're going to go through and make sure that we've addressed those. So I guess the question is how do you guys want to review the modification of the zoning code, or you guys, it's a lot. So I don't know how you guys want to.
Is there like a nice red line copy?
Yeah, I
It
mean,
is.
there's a red line copy and there's a lot of blood on it because we removed a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
But I don't know how you guys want to go through it.
It's like emailing it to us and.
Yeah, Jen, I think Jen sent it out.
I have a copy. I can send it
But
to you.
you guys are talking tomorrow at 1.
Right. Over the years, I've kept a list of, quirks or things
Okay.
that we
So there could be
question
a-
mark. So there could be additional.
Not like.
I don't think it's gonna
this
be
is like a
major.
This was like a major overhaul.
Okay.
The design, like,
Yeah.
we took out zone, and basically we're pushing everything to a PUD. So any kind of new development, even if it's small, will develop
In a
zoning
PUD.
tags for a
Right.
PUD. So the reliance on, but we did go into section, 500 and kind of make sure that we close the gaps, and some of those lists may be covered,
They're,
but
right.
we just want to confirm that.
Yeah, I started to read through it and I'm like, it's probably gonna be easier for you folks just tell me if they were fit in or not than
Yeah.
trying to go all the way through, because there is a lot of text.
How many pages did we reduce from what to what? Any idea?
No,
Don't know yet.
a lot. I mean, we
Like
removed,
cut
a lot
a
of-
third?
probably, we probably got a half of what it was,
Okay.
so.
Well, I mean, after you look at it tomorrow at 1, we can get a red line version before.
I mean, we can update it, because, and the other thing I want to talk to Jen about is like how, the process, and I know we've done this before, but the process, because it's gotta be, we've gotta send it to the planning commission, or, the zoning. They've got to have open hearings. So there's a process to adopt it.
Right.
So we're gonna have more.
You want us to
ability.
look at it through that period as it's going on?
Yeah, and so Jen was like, well, do you want me to come to the next meeting? I said, well, probably, let me talk to the other trustees and find out how they want to do it. So she's like, well, I probably can't be at the meeting next week, but the second meeting in October,
16th.
and then she can like lay out the process, but it gives us time to kind of go through it and look at it.
Okay. How about that? Can we set her schedule if possible?
Yeah, that would be fine. And I do have one question because Keith has already started working on the solar. The solar panels.
Yeah.
Would it be better to just go ahead and just put it all in at once since you're almost there instead of
Yeah.
going through two of everything with the
Iterations of it.
zoning commission and you folks? So,
Yeah, we kind of talked about, I didn't know if we had any solar projects. The only thing that, like, pretty much everybody's solar projects are exactly the way that the code is going to write. What we don't want is somebody to have like a roof like this and they're putting solar panels on stilts to get it thing. We want them flat
okay,
on the roof to match the roof outline. So if we have any zoning, like, we have no controls right now.
right.
So the whole idea was get it in so we at least have some sort of control measure, but I don't know how you want to handle it.
Yeah.
Because when somebody puts we have no teeth right now.
Right, but that still has to go through the same process,
Correct.
right? So, which you gotta figure public notifications and.
But I doubt anybody's putting solar panels up. Yeah,
I know he's been getting calls on it.
okay.
I do know that. I don't know, obviously he's just been pushing them to the county.
Okay,
Okay.
how about we do this? Get Jen on the schedule for the second
Okay.
meeting. Have your call tomorrow at 1. If there's things that need to be added, talk about the solar panel part.
Mhm.
Get us a red line version before, obviously, that second meeting,
Right,
so we can look through it and make notes. And then have her go through it. Is it possible, what's the restrictions of having the zoning commission chair and vice chair at least be in the meeting?
I believe you'll be fine to have him
Okay.
in a trustee meeting.
Okay, because I'd like for them to also see it, hear it from the attorney,
Yeah,
formulate some questions. It's going to come to them anyway. I can
right.
get a precursor.
So I think the other thing is, like, in the meantime, if you guys have any questions, just route them to Beth, let the thing, and then we can be answering your guys' question between now and the second meeting in October.
Okay.
So you're not hearing it for the first time.
Okay, so we're routing everything to you, questions, when we get the red line version.
Gotcha.
You'll disperse.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Anything on the 136604?
Yes, Keith is on vacation this week, but the daughter of the owner of the property has been out and he says diligently cutting away at things in the backyard, trying to get it cleaned up,
Okay, well,
which is meeting the requirements right
Okay.
now.
excuse me. Do we have a resolution for the Riverside Drive property?
That will be on, because of the timing issue, the notifications went out to the owner.
Okay.
That will be on the October 2nd agenda for approval.
Okay. Road department. Do we have copies of this?
No, I'm sorry, I
make
meant to
copies
make
of
it and I didn't. Here, let me go get it. I'm gonna,
So Ian's been, maybe organizer, but Ian's been working on getting individual quotes for the salt barn and elements of building a salt
And I've been
barn.
doing the same.
So doing
So,
the same, so we've been trying to do some piecemealing together to see whether or not that 300,000, which we think is way out.
Yeah. so just to let you know, I know that we've been talking about doing concrete poured walls, but the number that we're getting back is pretty hefty. So I was talking to Evan Albee and he's been working with Ohio Mulch
Mhm.
down on their new facility. And I'm gonna go down with him on Thursday. He goes, I don't know, I don't know why you guys aren't looking at doing concrete blocks. He goes, because first off, there's a permanence, obviously, and even though we're kind of said, hey, we want corner, he goes, you're kind of locked in. He goes, if you ever decide to move it, you're stuck. He goes, you gotta keep walls. And it's like, yeah. But he goes, why don't you come down with me and look at Ohio Mall? Because he said they're doing concrete blocks and he goes, they're just pounding away, but he says they don't, he goes, the impression is that they move, but he says, people don't move. I mean, he goes, they're pretty, and I said, well, what about the height? I heard that, if they go past, he goes, they just band them. He goes, they do it. So he says it's literally a solid structure that is not going to. So I was like, all right, I'll go down Thursday and look. No, they're
They're
the
big
road
blocks.
barriers. I mean, they're like 2,000 pounds.
They're like the
each.
size of this table.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not like the old basement wall block.
no, they're like 2,000 pounds a piece. So I just said, you know what, I'll go down and look at it and.
I mean, the concern is that if you have a loader push against it,
Yeah,
could it move potentially? Yeah, but.
I think it's worth exploring.
There's-
Just tell Ian not to do that.
Yeah, there's benefits and drawbacks to everything,
Yeah.
so, but. Things sometimes help, so these are the numbers that Ian's, I know it's not complete, these are the numbers that he has been getting back. And, I mean, if we were to start adding these numbers up, I mean. I think we're closer to a little over 200,000. I just,
Is there?
But like even the perimeter fence at 8 foot,
Mhm.
high, it's like, I would just suggest that we only put the fence, like we were looking at doing it along the whole back and then along the residence. I think we just do it along the residence. Because the area that's open is gonna be heavily landscaped anyway, so these are all the decisions that we need to make. I mean, as we're kind of really digging into the details on this thing, we're gonna see costs and we can make decisions like, yeah, poured wall would be preferable, but
it costs this.
it costs X and can we get the same thing with, and it's just evaluating all these things. And then once I think we got a plan,
Mhm.
then we can then say, okay, this is what we want. So we have the system, we have how we're gonna handle, how we're gonna handle things and all that other good stuff. So, I mean, it's all due diligence if we're gonna go through anything, but, I think we're not just looking at big numbers, but we're really able to evaluate all of these things.
Ask a question about the fence. Where's the fencing? Where were you talking about fencing again? I'm sorry.
So so starting at the corner of the police building where the condos are,
Yes.
going, I know we have an existing wood fence there, but that would be replaced and we go 8 foot high
Yes,
to the corner, and then we were gonna go south.
To the edge.
To the edge,
right.
but. Looking at the plans from Mount Carmel, their landscape, that's like a little detention pond, and they're just gonna landscape those. And it's like, what are we really screening anyway?
Can we revisit it when we figure out, you know, reason.
Oh, yeah, and that's it.
Like it's secured, obviously, for.
Yes,
Yeah,
no, in that case, it's like, okay. We obviously gotta handle the salt barn, but all of this stuff we can add at a later point. So, yeah, I mean, eventually we're kind of walking this thing forward. We just don't wanna have to redo it again.
right,
You know,
makes sense.
so.
So, I mean, the hope is that we'll have some pretty final numbers for next Tuesday's meeting.
Yes. Well,
Okay,
the other thing we're fighting is getting
Lots of
close, because
comparison.
this is not a big job for a lot of people,
Right.
so they're not coming back with numbers. So. Yeah,
okay. Generator is supposed to be delivered from here in November. So we can store this generator on site, but Ian's recommending that we have it installed. So they are checking on a few things, pressure, for the gas and all that. So, we'll have more, talk about, I think, this meeting with, Mr. Green here, when he gets back on Monday as well. So, full other details in place. It looks like it's on schedule, and I recommend that we install it. Question becomes, where do we install it? So,
well, my understanding was, if we need to move it, we can move it.
True.
We just gotta hook up the gas. We just gotta hook up the gas. So,
just install.
I think it's wherever the most central location that we're not getting voltage drop, and it's you know, it's gonna be a lot quieter. Yeah. So. Yeah. I just think wherever it makes sense. you know.
Yeah, probably right next to where the old one was.
Yeah. But if we ever have to move it, we can just move it.
Yeah, it should be pretty simple. Yeah.
You'll pour the concrete for that.
What's that?
You'll pour the concrete for
That's
that.
a concrete job. I couldn't.
You can do
Just-
it.
I'm not.
We did that the other day.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Okay. Fire and EMS,
Nothing.
No,
more.
nothing. Okay, police,
Their old business, one of the special events is just a reminder, October 22nd, we have a race for cancer in the Lincoln Hills. It's been approved, permits all taken care of, it's done. So we talked about the hog roast on the 14th, and the 13th is the fall fest at the school.
The 6, or is it? the 4th?
It's 5.
Yeah,
The 14th is the hog roast, the 13th is the fall. fest,
Okay.
And it's from 5 to 8, I believe. Am I missing anything in Brookside? Can't think of
No,
anything else.
no, you know,
the hog roast is 5 to 8 or the PTA?
yeah.
The PTA thinks 5 to 8. I'm not sure what time. hog roast
Ours
is.
starts at our normal, like 4-ish, and then, you know, people roll in later.
And I can't,
Depends on the weather and everything.
I don't remember, is Brookside doing carriage rides this year?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
Will you give me info when you guys have that?
yes. And then are we, sorry, you're still in.
Oh, no, good.
Are we providing any support at Kilbourne at this point?
No. Yeah, if they need anything, they'll let us.
We are on their list to call, right?
Correct.
Well, it just depends if
Yes.
CPD engages us with,
Well, no, to keep us in the loop of what's
Sure.
going on, but yeah, if Columbus needs something, they'll call us, but.
Yeah.
As
So
far
the
as,
school district. will call.
yeah, if anything goes on with the schools, we're now in a information loop to get all that information.
and I believe they're still determining whether they're gonna have homecoming inside or outside or what. this
That's what it
weekend,
sounds
so
like,
that seems
yeah.
to be the question,
Yeah, they definitely don't want to cancel it.
right?
New business, Officer Kyle Storm has submitted his letter of resignation. Effective October 12th will be his last shift. believe you have that, so look for us to accept this resignation effective October 12th, 2023.
Do we have that?
No, well, you gave me a copy, but you said you were having nothing on this agenda, so it wasn't on the
Oh,
agenda.
sorry about that. I lied, I have stuff on the agenda.
Exactly.
Mr. Roper, you can do something with that.
Apologize. I make a motion that we accept Kyle Storm's resignation effective October 12th, 2023.
Second. No, go. Andy. Vote.
Yes.
Mike, on that, that time comes when his last day's here, you're gonna take care of the offboarding with Think CUC, is that correct? Or is
Yeah.
someone else assigned to do that?
I can take care of it as you get more for it. I had the
Oh.
onboarding paperwork, but not the onboarding.
Okay, I'll get that for you.
And then the other thing on my agenda tonight that's not listed. Is we're going back,
Mary.
we're moving back to Franklin County's UI task force. We actually got out of it, a few years ago. It's been several years, so we're now going to join back. Miss Beth has the contract. There is no cost to us. It is a fully reimbursable for overtime, extra patrol during certain times of holidays a month, that kind of thing. And then if you have any questions, let me know. If not, the brief time we'll get back to the problem.
And what's the purpose of this?
It is, it's actually traffic in OBI patrol. The county has a task force of several law enforcement agencies, and they have a grant from NHTSA that they allot so many overtime hours to each agency to be able to add extra patrol just for traffic and OBI enforcement. There's no cost to us. They reimburse the officers time and overtime range. So as long as we don't go into the hours that they set for.
But when was the last year that we were part of that?
16? 2016, 2017.
I think Joey's first year.
Yeah, I say it again.
Before conflict, but
Yeah, I think it's been,
I think this is 16.
I think it was 2016 was when we stopped.
Okay. So this is for when we sobriety checkpoints.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah, they used to do them right out here.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's a small possibility they may want to do one more here, given the fact that our driveway current entrance will be closing off at some point, and they like this spot, so we'll see.
Okay.
So, but this contract is yearly, so we do this every year, so we're gonna go back and make sure it's something that we want to do. If we want to do it, if it doesn't work out next year, we just won't re-sign it.
Do you need a motion then for this?
Yes.
I make a motion that we enter into the DUI task force contract for fiscal, is it fiscal year 2024?
Yeah.
Year 2024?
Yeah.
Second, vote.
Yes.
Yes. Anything else?
I believe that's everything.
Okay,
Oh, one last thing.
you're gonna talk about the other thing?
It's not it's not on the agenda.
I know it's not on the agenda.
It is one of the.
Literally, Chief, there is actually nothing on the agenda.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a write-in, no big deal. We also have the drug take back, national drug take back on 28th of October. It'll be from 10 to 2 here. Same thing we do in the spring, we'll be doing it in the fall as well. And one of the officers will be here to maintain the.
Are we talking about the other thing?
The reserve.
Oh, no,
Oh, okay.
no, I'm not finished yet.
Well, you're not finished getting the details.
Correct, I still need.
He would have had it on his
We
agenda.
had it on the agenda.
But I'm bummed.
Okay, never mind, I'm sorry. She does send out a reminder and it says, hey, if you want stuff on the agenda.
This is true.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, she hasn't been the same since Mr. Roper went on vacation.
Probably had a ton of free time.
She, do you have any problems with your email? No, but I can make one.
Adam administrator.
Okay. And under old business, nothing on the 161 corridor. Pete and I are still pushing through with this Portage project assessment to help people get some funding for them being forced to tap in to the Columbus services. The water, I should actually change that to the special improvement district. We met with Pete and the two owners from up here yesterday, just trying to get a game plan. We'll likely I've got all the information Pete needs to create the SEDS. It's going to do 3 separate ones, one for Larkstone area, one for Henderson Road, and then of course up here at Summit View to get that process started. And that will be on the October 2nd agenda if all goes well.
Do we have to do 2 readings of that?
He did not. I'll double check with him, but he didn't say anything about having to do 2 readings.
Sure.
Let's see. The shredded event is this Saturday. The road guys and I will be out at Brookside at between 9 to 11, then 11:30 to 1:30 up in the Worthington Hills area. Again, we've kind of pushed out. I think I sent the email to the HOAs and civic presidents to try to, we don't want people any bad feelings when we ask for IDs, but the goal is to make sure that there's plenty of room in that truck for our residents. And last year we came very, very close to having to shut it down barely 2 hours in.
Who's going to ask for the ID?
Officer Reed will be on site. We felt it was best for a police officer to take on that responsibility and also.
Yes,
Right.
that's why I said that way they don't need to deal with that.
Right.
Our officers deal with it.
Right.
I have an unofficial reminder drafted that I'm gonna put out there in our
Okay,
neighborhood
thank you.
group about that, like Thursday night. We've already shared the official.
Right.
communications, But just here's why, and here's what we've seen.
Yeah, I
Kind
just
of thing, and
kind
then
of
I'll be
figured if it
there.
was coming from the communities, folks within their communities, and maybe.
I'll be there Saturday.
What happens
Okay.
if Michelle shows up with 5 boxes of material, but she forgot her driver's license?
Michelle, who-
That's right.
That's a good question.
Well,
Well,
you know, you
it would
got-
have been Mary's fault because.
she didn't send out a reminder.
That's right.
If it's not overwhelmed,
Well, so the challenge is we don't, I mean, for the most part, you recognize a lot of the
Right.
residents, or the
Right.
paperwork has an address on it that
Correct.
ties to our
Sure.
township. So if they don't have an ID, and or we recognize them, I imagine it's fine.
Yeah.
It's the.
Right, it's the people that we
reoccurring
don't,
issues that we
yeah,
have.
right,
Yeah.
right. We're, obviously over in Brookside, Michelle knows the majority of the residents. So if there's someone that's we don't recognize, then we're gonna ask for an ID. But we do, especially Brookside is where I notice that we get folks that aren't residents because they're coming so close to the other, from other areas close by. I don't know, I guess I don't notice it being as much of an issue in Worthington Hills because we're right.
What if Michelle forgot about Brookside, comes over more than Hills and we?
Oh, that's fine too, because they're
Yeah.
still part of the township.
They're still part of the
The
township.
issue, I mean,
Well,
and you guys know,
That's like,
barely, it's not allowed on Circle and
Circle
Green.
under Green's the
Um,
that's right.
But if you recall, we had that retired judge,
We don't shred
Right.
it.
Cloud.
Right,
that retired judge from Stilson Highlands last year that showed up with
oh,
tons of
tons of
stuff.
stuff, including like a wallet and various other things in the boxes. We had, of course, we have certain residents that continue to.
Yeah, some people have home businesses, like
Stop
there's
and-
been a
well,
handful.
Some don't have home businesses, but they're just hauling all their stuff over
Yeah.
too. So
Right.
It's,
The bottom line is we
I'm
want to
happy to
be
put-
able to have that truck available through the entire 4 hours that they're supposed to be available. And I don't want to have to tell any resident, sorry, truck's full. And last year it was, I don't think we made it an hour and a half in and the driver was like,
oh my gosh.
we're
Yeah.
getting kind of full.
Trouble.
Right,
Okay.
so,
Well, Charlie would be good.
yeah,
Oh,
he'll be
yeah,
fine.
absolutely.
He'll be great. He always
and I'll
is.
be there to back him up.
There you go. That helps too.
Yeah, like anybody
You're
that
back.
isn't ready gets ripped out of the car.
Yeah, we'll be on national.
Use the
Beach
taser.
someday.
Right. So another thing is our office occasionally gets folks emailing or calling in about coyotes in their yard, foxes in their yard, blah,
Yeah.
That's, I
That's
shouldn't say it that
very
way.
nice.
So I've been in communications with a gentleman from ODNR. The board does have some options. I mean, obviously, we don't have animal control
Right.
set up, but there are some options that I didn't think it would hurt for the board to hear, in that regard. There's also a lot of what we found misinformation. That the residents just didn't really understand how this whole process works. So I'm having a gentleman come in, hopefully Tuesday now, to just give a quick presentation. And some of the folks that have emailed in with concerns about animals in their yards, I'm just going to let them know that, the meeting will be streamed if they'd like to get some more information on it. But there's just certain times of the year we get a bunch of phone calls and emails. So I thought maybe this might help.
This is the time. of
You know
year.
what would really be great, and I know their public relations, DNR, as we ought to get their video and put it on our website.
Oh, I can ask
So
her.
there's an instructional video about what residents should do or can do, should not do. While you're calling and asking about a schedule,
Mhm.
ask him about that.
Okay.
Okay. And if he doesn't know what I'm talking about, then I'll send you to
Yeah.
to the chief of the public relations, and they'll send it. So
Well, if the county's not carrying TNT or box with that. can't be wrong.
There was a lot of misinformation being shared in our neighborhood group about them having mange and attacking dogs and,
Yeah.
a lot
Right.
of stuff. Because we've had kind of a family of foxes that people love or
Hey,
Or
are
dislike,
terrified of.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and this guy, he did send me back an email initially, and then he offered to come in and just kind of have a quick conversation, answer any questions you might have. Let's see. I think last meeting, Ian had mentioned because of the generator, we want to consider a facilities meeting. Just try and get something on the calendar before long. And I think that's it. Oh, the only other thing, I did have a question. So we've redone the special event application. We got feedback from the fire chief down in UA and the same over for city of Worthington. And initially we were, just start this out, HOAs and civics, we weren't going to charge a fee for the application. But initially we were kind of talking about if it's going to be on school property, not to worry about it. But then I started thinking, well, there's parking off-site a lot of times when the schools are having an event. So should we go ahead and ask the schools to go ahead? Or there's just more people in a specific area? Should we just ask the schools more, I guess, as a courtesy to please let us know when they're having events planned, so our police officers know to expect more traffic in the neighborhoods or that sort of thing?
well, my answer would be yes, for two reasons. One, if we ask to be on theirs, we have to go through their process,
True.
which I understand. But two, I think there are events that schools have that parking lot at either of those elementary schools is not enough. And they do end up on the main roadway. Concern is not so much for the police, but it is for the fire.
Sure.
And so if they're trying to get to an emergency and you're trying to squeeze through and cars are trying to get through too, I think they know those events. They know which
Okay.
ones we're talking about. I mean, usually the first parent teacher night, blah, 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 those kind
Ice
of
cream
things
socials, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So,
that really bring all the parents. I think it's just an FYI. We're not
Right.
charging them anything,
No.
right?
no, and I
Okay,
was just
an
gonna
FYI,
call
we need to-
as long as you folks were okay with that, I was just to just do it, say we ask them to do it, I'd just give the principals a call,
Okay.
just as a courtesy, and I'm sure they'll be fine with it. But I just got thinking more and more over since we talked about it last, if there's so much additional traffic, not just our folks, but especially when Brookside, you have people
Yeah.
coming in from other
Folks from others.
communities, and to give everyone a heads up, the fire and the police.
Right, I think that they will have some questions, because one thing you brought up, like parent teacher conference, or if they're having a play at the school. What do we want, like a permit for, like, is it something if it's happening outside, inside type thing? Because we actually approached this with Worthington Hills once and talked about the permit process if we ever went that direction. So it's gonna be, do we want every function that's after school, or is it?
Every function that, well, it's a good
That's gonna
question.
draw a crowd.
I mean,
would
our
think.
first part is if you can contain it within your property, which is owned by the state of Ohio, not the school, but.
Yeah.
But if you can contain it within that, then it's not something that we're concerned about. Our concern is when it goes beyond your parameters
Right,
of your property. And it gets into general roadways that we have a problem
Yeah,
with.
and
Yeah.
that's why I was thinking like a parent-teacher conference, I don't think they need a permit, if that makes sense, but if they're gonna have an ice cream social or something to that effect, or they're having whatever, if they have an outdoor.
A
concert,
graduation.
Graduation outside, those kind of things, yes.
Yeah.
yeah, the larger ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
and I
like
just
they-
don't think either principal will have any issues
No, I
with
don't
it,
think
but
so.
I just think it's, if nothing else, it's a good FYI for you folks and same for the fire and EMS.
Yeah, like when they do the Bobcat walk or the walkout in Worthington Hills, I think they'll have good things that way.
Okay.
We already know about, because they always call and ask us to be involved, so we. can just,
Right.
You know, hey, can you do this for simple, takes 5 minutes, fill out.
I mean, we get, you guys know, there's a ton of backup when folks park down the street, because they don't park on McVeigh for the most part. They park down that street and it gets very congested at
Yes.
that little curve.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can see that. being an issue.
Scooter, my man.
It's a scooter.
Yeah.
I know.
In our park now?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's one of the neighborhood, he lives, I think on the Sawbury, we've talked before.
Okay, and the only other thing I just want to let you know is that the letter of objection to the PUCO for the aqua increase, that went out and we received a letter that they've received it. So that's it.
Fiscal officer.
Request approval to transfer $14,525.08 advance that was made to the Body Armor Grant Fund 2915 back to the general fund.
I'll make that motion.
Second, vote.
Yes,
Yes.
That's a motion for approval of payroll and disbursement.
I'll also make that motion.
Second, vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Anything else for the good of the order? For a motion to adjourn.
Go adjourn.
Second. Yes.
Yes.
See.
What is